It's great to know that you're still there. We're moving straight to our first discussion segment on the program this morning. And now we're looking at academics, talking about the IPPIS, the platform that the Assu officials have said that they will never come under, saying that somehow they will be renegade or put into the system where they become civil servants. And they do not want instances like this. They are saying that there must be some sort of independence for the lecturers when it comes to their pay, and that they can't be brought under this platform where their payment will be done electronically. They feel that they will be rubber stamped and they will be turned into the puppet of the government. But how far can they go with this? They have said they will go on strike if their demands are not being attended to. All of this development is what we're facing this morning. And to look at it critically with us, we have a public affairs analyst in the studio in the person of Lateef Aremu, who is going to be looking at Assu face-off with federal government on IPPRS and others. Good to have you this morning.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Good morning, this beautiful morning.
Good morning.
Yes, what are your thoughts on this Assu stance against the imposition of the integrated payroll and personal information system?
Well, I think it should be two ways. And that is why I've maintained that Assu and the federal government should have that conversation. The payroll system, for clarification, is just an application, a computer application system that will help to eliminate mainly ghost workers, that will ensure money is not going to those who are not meant to get money. You know, it's not a news in Nigeria that some people will just put up some names together to draw salaries for government. That is what the government is trying to eliminate. And I think that's a major step in the fight against corruption in Nigeria. But on the issue of academic staff, why I think government and Assu should have that conversation is that the condition of employment, the terms of employment for Nigerian university lecturers, it's not the same as others civil servants.
Okay, you've talked about eliminating ghost workers, but according to Assu here, they are saying that it will cost federal universities their ad-hand autonomy.
That is what I was trying to get at, that the condition for employment, the terms of employment for the university lecturers is not the same as every other civil servant. They are not civil servants. Actually, they are public servants. But there's a difference between public servants and the civil servant. It is very easy to capture the civil servants in the IPPIS, or what do we call it. But when you want to bring in university lecturers, maybe there should be a special platform for them that will have some modifications that will suit their own peculiarity. For instance, the age of retirement. The age of retirement for every other civil servant is either 60 years of age or 35 years in service. But it has been ratified to 70 years for university lecturer. That is number one. And on the issue of sabbatical, how do we reconcile the two? When people go on leave as civil servants, they go on leave and they get their leave bonus. It's not that they go on leave to work. Maybe it's a month or 2 months or the amount of time they take. They will stay away from work totally, get paid, and still get their leave bonus. When university lecturers go on sabbatical leave, they are not going to rest. In fact, in most cases, they apply to other universities. Maybe, for instance, I teach at the University of Ibadan as a lecturer, and I want to go on sabbatical leave maybe for 3 months, 4 months, or for 6 months. I will have to apply maybe to a foreign university or a university.
But don't you think the federal government have taken all this into consideration before introducing the system?
If they are taking it into consideration, that means the platform for university lecturers will not be the same, in as much that the payment structure for the university lecturer is not the same as the one for other civil servants. They have the CONOAS, the consolidated salary structures for your academic staff in Nigerian university. That is the platform for the payment, which they are adhering to in the payment of university. And at entry level in the university earns way more. That's
okay. Let's look at the body language of Assu. What is it that Assu is trying to protect? They have said that they don't want to be rubber stamped. They want a system where they are independent and their salaries must not be fetched from a central post itself. If you read the body language of Assu, there are a lot of issues bedeviling the university system. How come the issue of their salary, which other civil servants are coming under the platform, is not only Assu, federal workers here are coming under this platform? What is this thing that ASU is afraid of?
Well, some might have insinuated that the main thing they are afraid of is they want to protect their pay. And number one, and some have come up with arguments that ASU wants to dictate how they are paid, which might create a lot of problem because you don't tell your
superior
employer how to pay you. You only agree on when and what to pay. For instance, my employer might decide to pay me in cash. If that's what the only time we can have problem is when my employer renege on the time and the amount. Maybe he promised to pay me 10 naira on the 30th of every month, and maybe it extends to 31st. We can have issue with that. Or the 10 naira reduces to 9 naira, we can have issue. But whatever platform, either he's paying into my account or he's giving me the cash in an envelope, the employer is at liberty
but
to
are
do
you
that.
worried about the incessant strike action in backed up on
Well,
the
it's not good for our university system, and I think as we should look for another way. They should look for a way to dialogue government. Going on strikes only benefits the university teachers, because whether they work or they don't work, they still get to pay. They have to consider the students too. They have to consider
do
the
you
time,
see
everything,
ASU?
because it affects Nigerian students.
You know,
a lot.
in as much as you have said that, and of course you've seen a lot of voice pop, which actually gives us a picture of what the students really feel about ASU strike. Do you feel, as a matter of fact, that they are selfish? Because if you look at most instances why they go on strike, it's either their welfare, it's either their members are not well taken care of. When we have instances of ASU going on strike because of their pay, you know, would you say, as a matter of fact, that they are insensitive to the plight of the students here?
I don't want to sound as if I'm an advocate for the ASU's cause here, but we have to understand the mandate, the objective, the reason why, the reason they established the organization is to protect the interest of their workers. I mean, of their members. I'm sorry. ASU is an occupational pressure group. They don't care. See, first thing first is to protect whatever.
At the detriment of academic calendar here.
Let me. We have to understand that bottom line, that the number one objective for them is to protect the interest of.
What about the passion on the job for the students they teach?
The passion is there. Now they can extend it. Now, if ASU now felt, or they feel that it's part of their interest to ensure that university students get the best out of university, number one, and they complete their program on time. If they still think it is part of their interest, they can extend it to that. But I know every worker wants to get paid where they want a conducive.
I asked the question because so many parents will actually go on borrowing, collect loans to make sure that their children attend private universities because of the incessant strike that we're having in public universities.
The incessant strike in Nigeria affects Nigerian students. In fact, even for those who want to go for maybe postgraduate studies abroad, I know someone who missed a scholarship because of the gap. Because the grant awarding body wants the guy to explain why there is a gap between the time he finished and the date on his certificate, and the guy, these people could not explain. I mean, they could not understand that strike could delay. Why would a strike delay? So these are the things, and one of the reasons why people have been so critic of ASU's stand on these issues, that most time when they come out to engage government on issues like this, it's either their side, just like you mentioned. At the end of the day, they are the ones who are better after
you know why I even asked about the issue of being selfish. We had the issue of sex for grades that was on the social media everywhere, on the conventional media, and a lot of people felt that ASU should have come out to say that we are aware or we are not aware of all of this development. We are creating disciplinary measures to ensure that those that are erring are made to face the book. We didn't hear any kind of punitive measures being taken by ASU. A lot of people had expected that this is what will form some of the basis of what ASU will be talking about. But interestingly, we have the IPPIS, which is much more important to ASU set up itself. It is encouraging when we have a system where a lot of people are already casting doubt on the graduates being churned out in the country. A lot of people are asking questions. Most people with a certificate, with degrees, do they really should they really be given it meritoriously? Do they get it on merit? When you have questions like this, and Assu is not addressing that, is looking at how much comes into his or her pocket, talking about the officials here. Is this encouraging?
Well, that is not that is not about Assu alone. It's a Nigerian mentality, and that is the effects. There's something we call the Tanga.
But this is affecting the academic structure of the country.
Yes, I know.
Not just the whole country itself.
Yeah, whatever affects the academic structure of the country affects the whole country as a whole, and that is the effect on the environment, on the academics. Because these people are they are not the university lecturers are not aliens, they are not foreigners, they are Nigerians, and they have the Nigerian
so they can't
mentality.
discipline themselves.
They can discipline themselves. No, I cannot speak for Assu, but because in this situation it's Assu can come out to say anything about sex for grade, but let me say Assu don't have the power to punish any lecturers that have been found culpable in this thing, because they don't have the power of hiring and firing. All they can do is to engage government, their employers in this situation.
So they cannot take any
step. They can only suspend.
That was sanitized.
Yeah, they can only suspend members. I mean, anyone found culpable in this from being members.
Shouldn't we hear them
and
saying that?
And being a member of ASU is voluntary. I know some lecturers who are not even ASU members. They don't know. I have a mentor who have always been saying he doesn't understand what ASU is all about. He cannot actually point to any reason why we should have ASU as an organization.
Let's go back to this issue of this IPPIS, talking about it. It has been in the offing since 2006. And so it's not just starting with this administration. Why?
But this administration is implementing it. Something might just be...
the question is this. Why is it that all previous administrations have been hammering on this particular system?
See, the system in itself, it's a good initiative. It's something that will sanitize the civil service. It is something that will help government block leakages and loopholes in government expenditure, and it's a good one because we cannot be spending money we don't have. But when it comes, what I'm saying is that no one will support the fact that government should not implement IPPIS, maybe for ASU or for anybody. But what I'm saying is that considering the peculiarities of their own profession and the terms of their own employment, maybe they can sit down and strike a new agreement. We are bringing you under IPIS. You don't have a choice by that, because in this case you don't have a choice. But we have to look at some gray areas, like the age of retirement, like on your sabbatical and some other things. But on issues like drawing salaries simultaneously from 2 or 3, we have some lecturers who do that, getting salary from you, getting from Ife, getting from somewhere.
But are they not shortchanging the system?
That is what I'm saying. That is why government have to sit down with the leadership of the academic staff union now and try to strike a balance that will be a win-win situation for both the federal government and the ASU. No, these are the areas we are trying to look at. Okay, these are the areas you have to review for us. Mostly, I read a release by ASU, and what they have been pointing out is that, okay, when you say the retirement age for everybody in the civil service system, what about someone who is still a university teacher in the system, a professor, 65-year-old, 69-year-old? Will you stop their salary? That is what they are saying. What about our sabbatical? We don't get leave bonus. We get paid for sabbatical. Are we still going to be getting all these things? And so many other issues.
But let's also look at it from this angle. Collection of data. We've been complaining over the years as to how can government have a system where data is actually collated in terms of the structure of how many lecturers, for instance, are teaching in federal universities, and of course those that are due for retirement, they need to have the data of those individuals. Don't you think in a way it will work for the betterment of the educational structure if they are collated under a system, a technical system, where all of them could be identified in terms of their ages and of course the salary structure? Then their pension will be easier to be paid. Don't you think it will still work in their favor?
It's a fact that has been established that the initiative is a good one, and it will correct a lot of anomalies in our education system. In fact, it will help government to identify which areas or which universities they need more, because in most of our universities, that is why this is why we have to look at these things critically. In most of our universities, the lecturers are not enough, And these lecturers are not enough. Out of those who are not enough, some of them are working in 2 or 3 universities, drawing salaries from. So that is why everyone needs to support the initiative, so that it will sanitize the whole system. If you want to work in Ibadan, stay in Ibadan, get your salary in Ibadan. Let those who need jobs go to Ife, get employed. It's not that you'll be getting salary in Ibadan and be getting salary, but that's as it. We government needs to look at areas where this will affect what is rightly due to this university. That is what I'm saying. The bottom line is that they should sit down and strike it out. Maybe there will be a special platform for them that will incorporate.
In as much as you have said that lecturers actually go to other universities to teach, let's look at the quality of lecturers. Let's take physics for instance. Maybe there is a lecturer who is very good in physics, and Ife in UI, and Ife actually feels that this lecturer will impact a lot of knowledge on my students. I do not have a capacity as good as this lecturer, and they lift that lecturer to come to Ife to also teach physics. Are you saying, as a matter of fact, that this individual should not get paid for these services?
Doctors do consultancy services in many government hospitals. They don't get paid up salary. I know some doctors.
So where do they get compensation?
They get
teaching?
Compensation, not full. See, what we are saying is that someone getting full salary as a full-time worker in Ibadan and still getting salary as a full-time lecturer somewhere.
This is not some of the things that federal government is considering.
See, when I was in universities, there are some offices that all I know is that this is office of Professor so. For the whole of my 4 years stay, I did not set eyes on them for once.
Is this not the federal government is trying to deal with?
Salary, and nobody was able to say maybe this person, it's understandable when someone is on a study leave. Maybe this is a professor who has gone to maybe a university in abroad to teach, to get full payment, and still getting money. These are the areas government do. But when someone is on a consultancy service, maybe someone who is a leading
but can IPPIS stop that from the lecturers having a mobility now, going from one university
that's the
to
IPPIS
the other?
Can stop because the money is still coming from the federal government. The university borrowing, let me use the word borrowing now, can compensate, because don't expect me to leave this place and go. There should be a kind of maybe hazard, something that will be incorporated in the place.
Miscellaneous
so the person should get compensated, because even when lecturer, it is there already. When they go for conferences that will amount to self-development, quite a number of the senior lecturers get paid for it. They get paid for personal development, they get paid for attending conferences, they get paid for carrying out researches, they get paid for publication. These are the same way. If a lecturer is leaving, let's say Ibadan, to teach a special course, maybe there is no one to take that special course in Zaria, the person should get compensated for not getting paid.
Let me read out some of the things that Assu have said that will actually have implications. They said that university may no longer be able to assist a lecturer who has issues with either his research allowances or his rents and his benefits, because such a lecturer will have to travel to Abuja before he can get that done. Is that enough reason to actually say they will not?
It's not, because that's just trying to get cheap sympathy from the people. If civil servants are doing it, if health workers are doing it, if academics in research institutes are doing it, why shouldn't university teachers do it? They are not saying they will not get it now. They've said they have to travel to Abuja to do it, but I don't think they will even have to travel to Abuja. If you get your papers in order, that is why the university administrators are there. That's why the university authority are there, to facilitate things like this. Just get the papers in order, let the papers get to where you get, and you get your money. Why travel to Abuja? Do you want to receive the money in cash? Will it be difficult to transfer fund from Abuja to, let's say, Lagos or Zaria or Kano? So this doesn't hold water. But what I'm saying is that there are some serious areas that they have to look into as peculiar to their
I keep wondering, why must labor unions resort to industrial action before the federal government will meet their demands, or
because
before they can
come to the language the government understands. Seriously, it's the only language. If the body language of government changes over time, maybe labor union will have to move back.
Let's even go to some of the reasons they are giving for the rejection of the plan. They said the IPPIS clearly violates the law that establishes university, which made the council the highest decision-making body in the universities. that IPPIS contravenes the Assu Federal Government of Nigeria Agreement of 1992 and 2001 and 2009. IPPIS does not capture the peculiarities of academics in Nigerian universities, and failure to respect the ASU FGN Agreement 2009 Agreement and the looming crisis. You know, they've cited this agreement between the federal government and, of course, ASU being the highest decision-making body itself. Is this a policy somersault, given the fact that they are now going to look at the face of the law? They are not just saying that this is our personal interest, but they are attaching the law to it. Would you say it's a policy somersault at the end of the day, given the fact that now they're establishing the agreement reached by the federal government?
I think at the time of that agreement and at the time of the act establishing in the university, maybe in NUC, the IPPIS was not in practice then. Now that we want to incorporate this system into our pay structure, that is, see, the problem, I will still blame the federal government. You don't just dump policy on people. You have to dialogue that this is what we are bringing. They are stakeholders too.
But this has been in the offing since 2006.
If it has been in offing, this is the first time we are actually discussing. This is the first time the TSA have been in planning for how many years, and the government decided to implement. This is the first time we are actually trying to implement it, and you don't just expect people to lie down and take it like that. They have to look out for their own interest. This thing you are bringing, it is good, but how will it affect my personal interest? We have to look at, even if ASU is saying this is part, so we can't bring sentiment.
Is there any policy of government that normally Nigerians are favorably disposed to?
You don't expect everyone to like policy of government. Some people will be happy about it, some will not be happy. That is why when governments are rolling out policies that will affect, that will have a ripple effect, multiple effects on people, you have to bring stakeholders, the people that these policies will affect, and let them hear their own opinion on the issue. These are the gray areas we have to sort out before we go about. But this idea of just dumping policy on people, we never want. That is what ASU is. Look at, in fact, one of the things I've been mentioning is on number 3 on what we read, that the peculiarities of the ASU is not just like the civil servant. It's very easy for civil servant to attend because. But
let me put this to you: do you think that the peculiarities, Mr. Lateef, do you think the peculiarities actually outweigh the benefits, or you think the benefits outweigh the peculiarities?
The ASU members we should be able to answer that, because they know what they stand to lose when this is implemented.
In as much as we go on this, I was just going to ask you that if you look at some of their claims that the political elites are trying to kill public universities so that their own private universities will strive, and the children of the poor will not have access to federal universities while the private university would exist. Is it something that is tenable here?
Well, I don't know how that comes in. If that is their argument, they should be more concerned about funding universities. It's either they should be more concerned about funding universities or getting autonomy for our universities. But they are not doing that. It's all about their own salary, their own personal income here. But if they actually care about the universities here, they should engage government in funding university, providing for employing more lecturers and bringing more.
We must say thank you to you, Lateef Aremu. We've been speaking to Lateef Aremu. He's a public affairs analyst. Thank you so much for being here. And we have been looking at ASU face-off with federal government on IPPIS and others, and we feel that these issues should be nipped in the bud before the union actually goes on the strike that it's planning to go on, before the academic structure becomes damaged, as the case may be at the end of the day. We just have to take this break. When we come back, it will be another topic and another guest. Please stay with us.